peak of a lonely mountain, a single man stood surrounded. His name was Fang Yuan. All around him were enemies, powerful cultivators, righteous factions, old masters, and young prodigies had all gathered for one purpose only: to end him. They shouted accusations at him. They called him a demon. They blamed him for countless deaths. They demanded a mysterious treasure he possessed, something known as the spring-autumn cicada. But Fang Yuan did not respond. His clothes were torn, his body was filled with wounds, and blood continuously flowed from him, forming a pool beneath his feet. Anyone else would have collapsed long ago. Yet Fang Yuan stood still, not in fear, not in anger, but in calm acceptance. He understood clearly. There was no escape. For 6 long hours, both sides remained frozen. No one dared to move, because even at death's door, Fang Yuan was terrifying. Everyone feared his final counterattack. As the sun began to set, the sky turned crimson, painting the mountain in burning colors. At that moment, Fang Yuan finally moved. The surrounding warriors instinctively stepped back. He slowly turned his head and looked at the setting sun. A faint smile appeared on his pale face. It was not madness, it was reflection. Inside his mind, memories surfaced. Long ago, he was not from this world. He was once an ordinary scholar from Earth, who somehow fell into this brutal cultivation world. What followed was 500 years of survival, 500 years of betrayal, bloodshed, manipulation, and ruthless choices. He had lived as a demon, not because he enjoyed cruelty, but because mercy had no place in his path. And now, standing at the end of that path, Fang Yuan felt no regret. He had already known this would be his ending. To walk the demon path means to become the enemy of the world, and enemies must eventually be destroyed. Yet, deep inside, one thought brought him satisfaction. If the spring-autumn cicada truly worked, then even death would not be the end. With that thought, Fang Yuan laughed, not in despair, but in defiance. The surrounding forces panicked. They thought he was about to unleash his final move. Before anyone could stop him, a massive surge of power erupted. Everything went white. Soft rain fell gently upon Qingmao Mountain. The violent battlefield was gone. Instead, lights glowed across the mountainside, revealing a peaceful village filled with life. This was Gu Yue Village, a place deeply rooted in tradition and cultivation. That night, the village was unusually bright. Inside a grand ancestral hall, a solemn ceremony was taking place. The clan leader and elders knelt before their ancestors, praying for the future of the clan. They prayed for talented children. They prayed for hope. They prayed for strength. Because in this world, talent decides fate. As the ceremony ended, the elders discussed the younger generation. Other clans had already produced terrifying geniuses, youths who would one day dominate the region. Naturally, pressure weighed heavily on the Gu Yue clan. But then, one name was mentioned: Gu Yue Fang Yuan, a child known for extreme intelligence from a very young age, a boy whose mind seemed far older than his body. The elders believed that if this child possessed high aptitude, he could become the pillar of the clan's future. They did not know one thing: that child was no ordinary boy. In a quiet room, a young Fang Yuan stood near the window, gazing at the rain-soaked village below. His eyes were calm, too calm for a child. Inside him existed 500 years of memories. At that moment, Fang Yuan understood the truth. He had returned to the past. The spring-autumn cicada had activated. Time itself had reversed. This was Guyue Village from 500 years ago, the very beginning of everything. He looked at his young hands, small and weak, yet filled with unimaginable experience. This was not a dream, this was rebirth. And unlike last time, Fang Yuan would not repeat the same path blindly. With knowledge of the future, cold resolve, and demonic determination, he had gained the greatest weapon of all, a second chance. And this time, he would walk his path without hesitation.